I am now live. Bring a pillow, because I didn't plan that to.
Oh, well, I was just.
I didn't set up for you now because I didn't think you were coming. Here, I'll scoot over.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so when I started this live chat, it said I had like 10 friends who are online right now. So I don't know if that is because people aren't seeing stuff on Facebook anymore.
Viewing.
Yeah, a few people are on. Hi, everybody. Hi, Carrie. Oh, good. Carolee, Carrie, some other people. Okay, Facebook was informing me that I only had like a handful of friends online, but I think Facebook tends to fib a little bit, so I think there are some folks. Hi, guys. Good evening, everyone. This is my daughter, Naomi. A lot of you know her already. I was popping on this evening, rather impulsively, actually. I don't exactly know what I'm talking about, so if I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, it's because I don't. So I wanted to talk this evening about sacred economics and the circle, the divine flower of life that we have the opportunity to create in community with each other and in mutual respect and reciprocity. Because I think a lot of people now know that the economy is in some instability and has probably been for a while, and coronavirus definitely is not helping. A lot of people are out of work, a lot of people are financially not doing as well as we were, and you know, it's hard to make ends meet. And I have a lot of people in my community who are various types of like healing practitioners, artists, writers, kind of bohemians and eclectic people who are really talented and self-made in many cases, and people who also make cool stuff like soap makers and jewelry makers and all kinds of artisans in my community. And I've been really passionate lately about wanting to get us all together, because I feel like at this moment, if we all stopped paying Jeff Bezos for everything, and like, you know, Amazon.com and even Whole Foods and, you know, these hierarchical models of economics, if we stopped participating so much in the hierarchy and we start participating more in the circle with each other, then we really have the opportunity to build a new economy together. And I'm deeply passionate about that because I think right now it's going to matter more than ever. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how in my life I'm developing that sacred circle a little bit, just starting to, and how I think we can help each other going forward, and like just options that you guys might want to opt into of what is already being developed. My daughter's a good example. Like the way our family, our whole family operates is in mutual reciprocity. We are always uplift each other, and without any type of hesitation whatsoever, we trust each other, we build each other up. And that includes our different talents. So like, you know, I will help Naomi sell things because she's a crochet artist. So if she wants to sell some of her stuff, or like, you know, showcase her stuff on Instagram, I will help her get out there and get seen. And like my husband, who does, you know, is a healing practitioner, I will help him get seen and be in his sacred purpose, and then they in turn help me. So just here in our little local network, we already have a sacred circle in the form of my family and our like local community. And when I say local, I mean the people that are closest to us, not always like geographically local. But when we started Eisen Academy, I should say, Eisen Academy is like our new Patreon-based community / it's a learning collective is what I want to call it. And we're teaching each other stuff. So within Eisen Academy, I'm inviting people in who have all types of talents and who are already like artisans and, you know, watercolor artists or writers and can teach writing workshops, or people who teach vocal workshops, or any type of dance and embodiment work, to come into the community. And basically for some people that I can, I'm helping to develop coursework with them, and then helping their class get filled up so that they can make money in their sacred purpose. And meanwhile, people come and then invest into Eisen Academy in our offerings. So it's a big sacred circular economy. And within the Eisen Academy also, I'm starting a directory of all of us and what we do. So basically it's a drop your link environment, like drop your web link, drop your workshop link, you know, tell us how we can support you. And the idea is that if we all give back to each other in community, we raise and lift each other up together, and we all rise together, and we rebuild that sacred circle, and we divest from the hierarchy. We divest from the Jeff Bezos and the Bill Gates of the world, right? And we take our power back into our own center, our own hands, and we invest in each other. So we invest in the people that we know are heart-centered, that we know are really bringing love to what they're doing, and who have demonstrated, trust in the community and a desire to participate in reciprocity. So I think the more we can do that right now, the better our lives are going to be. So one great example of this is with homesteading. I think that pretty much all of us should be learning right now how to grow food, myself very much included. I'm not there by any means. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to yet have food autonomy, but there's a lot of skills that I think we all need. We need to know and be connected with farmers and homesteaders and, like I said, soap makers and clothing makers, because at the end of the day, if Western economy starts to fail, and if the structures that be kind of are crumbling or not, even if they're just not doing their job, being there for us as they should, our government tends to fail us in this regard. In my opinion, they really should have had another stimulus out to help people eat, when there's this lockdown thing happening, but they're being, of course, extremely slow and, arguing and infighting. So while they're busy doing all this arguing and infighting, we can be building independence, autonomy, but also community. Because the other thing I wanted to bring up is that a lot of us have done a lot of healing work. A lot of us have done our trauma work, or we're still doing it, which is fine wherever you are in that process. But the outcome of this trauma work, I find, for me, I went through years where I was in this deep healing process, and then I kind of came out of this deep healing process, and I was like, wow, I'm whole. So what do I do with that wholeness? Do I just sit here and kind of, succeed for myself and be independent? Or maybe it's just me and my family against the world? Or do I use my wholeness to generate a more whole world? And for me, the answer is I want to use my wholeness. I don't want to just stop at, oh, I'm whole now, so I'm done. I've healed my trauma, so I don't have anything else to do. To me, the entire purpose of healing is that we then pay that forward healing to our world to create, we're microcosms, right? So we pay our wholeness forward to an ailing world to show the world how to be whole. And that involves being with other people, being in community, investing in each other, being interconnected. So one simple example that I posted, a couple weeks ago, I said, really, if all of us who have YouTube channels, just in my community alone, I have about 100,000 people in my total online community now. If we all supported each other just on YouTube alone, every single one of us would be able to monetize our YouTube channels in very little time and actually get paid by YouTube. So we would be actually using the circular economy to, in a funny way, hack the hierarchical economy and to take the power back from the hierarchy by using the circle as the key, right? The key, the code that would empower us at a grassroots level to be getting paid because we believe in each other. We believe in ourselves and we believe in each other. So to me, it is the next step. Okay, we've done the healing work, we've done the core trauma stuff. Like I said, we're still in that, and that's fine. It's always going to be a process, but a lot of us are okay, so what's the outcome and the objective of this healing work? And I feel it's the circular economy. I genuinely feel this is the next big step in the collective that we all can take to support each other. So practical things that you can do at this moment if you want to be part of what I'm building with that. Is I'm going to drop the link for Eisen Academy, and it's all hosted through Patreon, but it's really about building this community, and I've really only just started. There's one level that's very inexpensive. It's $11 a month that gets basically people into this community. It's a monthly chat, and then things I'm also going to build that directory of everyone's links, everyone's talents. I'm going to invite people to have live chats, sharing their talents with the group, and their offerings. Hey, I make awesome, earth-aligned soap. Here's where you can buy my soap. Here's my Etsy link. Or we can do trades within the group, like you can get someone's product for your service, you know, things like that that we can organize together to start the circle economy. And it's really like starting up an engine, I feel like. Like I have this image in my head of like one of those like really clumsy flying machines that someone has built, you know, that's kind of janky and doesn't quite fly at altitude yet, but it's like so promising and it's built from the heart. And that's kind of how I feel personally that I'm at right now. I'm like kind of like a mad inventress, like going, I know this is gonna work, and if I just tweak this, you know, sprocket over here and add a couple springs, this is gonna fly. And I know that it will fly because, you know, that's my vision, and I just also mathematically, it will work if everybody comes in with mutual reciprocity. The key is going to be that mutual reciprocity, commitment, trust of self and other, willingness to take a chance on some new ideas and take sacred risks for what we believe in, and just that willingness to build the new world together. So the Eisen Academy thing is where this is happening for me. And at the next level of development, I have right now between 3 and 5 individuals that I'm working with specifically to develop their coursework, and then offer their courses, you know, through Eisen Academy, get those courses up and running and filled to the greatest extent possible, get them getting paid in doing what they love to do, which can then branch off into a much bigger business if, you know, they choose to do that, and really bringing like amazing offerings to the public in that process, because every single thing that's being offered in that process is exactly the medicine that we all need. Like I referred to homesteading. Who doesn't need to know more skills around that right now? Or like how to make, you know, your budget really work for you during coronavirus in terms of the food that you purchase, and like having a recipe book of very economical yet nutrient dense foods that will keep your body strong and fit with very little money. You know, who doesn't need those types of skills right now? So it's really about getting those grassroots skills in, and then it's also about embodiment coursework. Like right now we're doing belly dancing. Belly dancing is proving to be really important to me for embodiment work and pelvic health and unpacking a lot of other stuff in the body that is extremely powerful in the feminine body. So that's another example of something that we've developed, and that is succeeding through Eisen Academy. There's going to be other ones coming down the chute here. Like we've got a course for divine sacred selfhood for tween and teen girls that's being developed, so that girls like Naomi's age, can grow up in their power right from the beginning and have really solid mentorship from women who kind of been there, done that, and like young women, you know, like in their 20s, who are highly relatable, but have like lived and like are wise and have come to, you know, a place of real empowerment with regards to their embodiment, so that, you know, girls who need a proper mentor can benefit from that and also benefit from each other. So that's another one. And I have a lot more coming along. I got some singing classes coming along. So at the tier of working with Hannon, I don't know how many of you know my husband's work. Shout out if you know Han, you know what he's up to. He's a shamanic healer and is extremely gifted at his work. So people who are working with Hannon in his shamanic stuff are getting, so basically the shamanic work is helping people midwife their sacred purpose monetarily as well as spiritually. So the goal of our shamanic work isn't to make you feel good and then you're done. The goal of our shamanic work is usually to enact change on the earth plane that affects relationships, and it affects how we make our money, and it affects you know, choices that we make and things that we even feel competent to make, right? Like getting that confidence up to really live in your purpose and with, you know, have divinity flowing through you and making money in so doing. So one of the things that happens in his work is that people, like I said, they come into wholeness and they come into sovereignty with themselves, and they have this power now, and they're like, I feel ready to take next steps to actualize my purpose. And so when they journey with him, and there's Patreon tiers for that journey work, there's 2 different types of tiers for that. One is the individual journey, which is like healing oriented. The other one is a devotional group journey that's about kind of growing our sacred purpose together. But people who are working with Han in either of those are the ones that I'm kind of like, you know, working personally with to develop that coursework that I just mentioned to you. So again, it's a sacred circle because people are working with Hannah and then I am helping them to make the money back. So if somebody invests $400 in a journey with us, I like to make sure they get more than $400 back in whatever we develop together so that it's not only paid for, but it's more than paid for. And that's the idea of the sacred circle, is that we are more than the sum of our parts. So if you put in 400, excuse me, you might get out 800. Then you take that 800 and you invest it back and you might get 16 back. So it's not a pyramid scheme or an MLM. It's I think of it as a figure eight or a circle. It's an economy that grows itself through mutual support and reciprocity in which everyone rises together. And I don't know about you guys, but personally, I've gotten to the place in my life where I'm tired of trying to do everything alone, number one. Not that I'm doing that anymore, but you know, I think we all have a little bit of that programming in us, and it's the American way that's failing, and it's leaving people feeling really isolated and miserable. I want to create a world where we don't have to do that anymore. That's what I'm devoted to. That is my communal commitment. I want to create a world where we can come off our islands and actually be in intimacy with one another, even if it's economic intimacy. That counts, right? That makes a difference. So it's about getting us off those respective islands and coming back into the tree of life, where we're all nodes on the same tree, and therefore we are interrelated and we affect one another, and we have the capacity to build each other up. And I think that's something that the powers that be, in quotes, maybe don't want us to do. Maybe they like us better in our own little cages or on our own little islands of independence or even sovereignty at times, in a way that keeps us in competition with one another as opposed to supporting and cooperating with one another. And what this model of economics relies on us being all able to get past the idea of competing. Like, I want to be the diva, I want to be like top, you know, BITCH, I want to be the star, or whatever, make the most money or be the most successful. It relies on us being able to get off of that and get on to, I really love that other person. I want to succeed so that I can watch and help them succeed, and I want them to succeed so that I can succeed. And recognizing our team, you know, interconnectedness within that has nothing to do with competing with one another. It's just a little mental obstacle that, you know, sometimes we have to do a little work to get over, but it's totally doable. And I'm very much in that space in my life where I don't want to compete with anyone. I want to build people up. And my personal joy in life is witnessing people in their sacred purpose. Like, if I have one specific talent in this life that is probably super unique to me, it's that I can see people's talents and I can see their gifts. I can see their purpose. And I have a way of looking at people that potentially activates that. And I love to do that because it taps into my own like sacred adoration of the other. And like with my children, it's a perfect example. Like, I can look at them and know what their next step is. Like, I know Abe was ready for a chessboard. You know, I know that Naomi was ready for Instagram, right? She wasn't even on Instagram until this year, maybe a few months ago, but I knew she was ready. So I can see people's next steps. And what I love about this work for myself personally is that helping people be in their sacred purpose is my sacred purpose. So talk again about the reciprocity and the sacred figure eight, like helping you be in your highest alignment with your soul purpose in a way that also generates prosperity is my greatest pleasure in life, and kind of like one of those things that I live for. So for me, this is like a dream job. And I just want everyone to know that we can do this. And please feel free to drop your YouTube links. Like, I will start more threads about this. You know, I want to know about your Etsy. I want to know about your art. I want to support and like, I want you guys to know each other as well. Like, please use my page as a space to introduce yourselves to each other. Please do not hit on other women on my, don't hit on people on my page in an annoying way. That's the only one I ask. But as far as like generating like business opportunities or networking, please feel free to use my space, my page, to drop your links, and like, I'll try to provide more spaces for that as we go on Facebook. And then Eisen Academy is like solely devoted, as far as my work right now in that academy, is absolutely devoted to that. I've decided that that's going to be my mission, because I want people to eat this year and have nice homes that they feel safe in. And I'm not going to wait for Biden or whoever to hand out like a stimulus so that I know that my family can eat. I just am not going to do that. I'm going to help build this thing now because I can. And, whatever those people at the top do is what they do. And I don't really give a shit. I really don't. I'm not waiting for them. I'm not going to be in a like helpless, like baby bird, waiting to be fed position. I'm going to move forward dynamically in connecting people. So that is my invitation to you guys. And I'm going to drop the link for Eisen Academy so that you can check that out, because really that's, as much as I would love to be able to focus on my entire community, and I do to some extent, when it comes to like specialized work of really developing with people, I have to pull that in so that I don't completely exhaust myself. So this is a way for me to rein in my attention and focus and work with people very closely in reciprocity. So people who are investing in Eisen Academy and our community and each other are the people that I want to most closely work with in investing and creating sacred purpose and prosperity with them. And I see us as being the anchors of a new economy. And, I may not be right about this, but I have a feeling this is going to be the future. So those of us who do this now are building a foundation for what's going to happen when all that we've asked and prayed to fall is falling. Because we also have to be prepared when we say that prayer, like crush the patriarchy, to hell with the government, whatever prayer we're saying, we have to be prepared that when that prayer comes true, there's going to be real consequences. That's going to affect you having food in your mouth or not, or your family's safety. And I want all of us to be ready at that moment. I want us to feel like we were the pioneers. We saw this one coming, and we were already envisioning a new world. Not only that, but birthing a new world, dreaming it in with our hearts by coming together in love and supporting each other as we've been taught not to do, but we just said, to hell with all that programming. We're coming together, and we're going to build this new way starting now. We're not waiting. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And I want to be with souls who feel as passionately about that as I do, so that we can plant the seeds now and start growing the new world. I see this as being, if you believe in something like heaven on earth, if you believe on something like the world to come, right? Everybody says it's the end of the world, but no one talks about the world to come. The end of one world is the birth of another. So I see this as being the financial, the economic underpinnings of that next world. And to be honest, there's only so much that can shift spiritually for us until some of the economics also shift. Because right now we are in that hierarchy, and there's only so much, we can do all the spiritual work in the world, but some of it's going to be a little bit of like, taking a Tylenol to make the pain go away, until we do some of the deep work of recreating a new infrastructure that more closely mirrors our needs as humans, and our desire to be interconnected, and our willingness to be in reciprocity with each other. So, if we're spiritually devoted, we have to be economically devoted as well. There really is no separating those two things, because it's a bit of like I said, a placebo, a little bit of a Band-Aid placed on a very, huge undertaking. And I think it's time to do this next layer, I feel. It's time to take on this deeper tier of work and get really nitty gritty with like, how do we crack this nut? How do we make the money start flowing, in a circle again? And how do we break up this hierarchical chain, this set of chains and this prison, really, that we've kind of been mentally placed in order to really know that we'll have all that we need just by loving each other, which is really how it should be. So that is my spiel for now. I'm gonna put that link up right now. Please post your questions and thoughts, and I will start, as I said, placing a bunch of like prompts up for people to start sharing their whatever you're doing right now to make money, because I want us in our community to start buying from each other, and it's really important to me. I look at the future right now and I'm not worried or scared, but I'm aware that there are economic, like real dangers at the moment. And I want us to start thinking along the lines of how we can be there for each other in this now. Like I said, I already said the whole thing about how we have to do this now. Okay, I'm not gonna say that again. Love you guys.